Morning, everyone. See, we have a few more people filtering in. So as they do, I'll just give a brief welcome. My name is Angie Brown. I'm here with UFHR Communications and Work Life, and we're pleased you could join us for this morning's session on somatic meditation. We have with us, we're very fortunate to have Dr. Sabine Grunwald, who is the founder and director of the UF Mindfulness program here at the university that's been around for a few years now. And Dr. Grunwald is also a professor of soil and water science. So she's a Renaissance woman in my view, and we're very pleased to have her lead us through this practice in somatic meditation and tell us a little bit more about what that is. So I'm going to turn it over to Sabine.
Good morning, and thank you, Angie, for the nice introduction. Welcome everybody at this very chilly, cold, beautiful morning for a somatic meditation practice. Meditation practices offered in this workshop are focused on somatics because stress and life pressures, unprocessed emotions and trauma are often hold in our bodies. And this leads to maybe heaviness, distraction, to tension, or also to all different kinds of pains like back pain or shoulder pain, or several other ailments. But literally, our body keeps the score, as Van der Kolk, a very well-known trauma expert, used to say and to research about. Because our body is central also for meditation practice, because without our bodies, we couldn't even meditate, we couldn't even think or be. So the centrality of the body in meditation, in particular mindfulness meditation, is salient. Body awareness is important to also provide us with connection between body, mind, and our hearts, to let go what also holds us back and pushes us down. So I like to start to introduce you a little bit to this topic of somatic meditation. In particular, many of you might be already familiar with meditation, with mindfulness meditation, but somatics is also possibly not so well known. So let me share my screen with you to show you a few slides. So somatic meditation, to introduce you to this topic, I like to invite you to just settle into your body, where you are sitting or standing, and connect to the following images that you see. But look at these images from the perspective of your body. What dwells up when you look at the following images? Is there any emotion or feeling, any tension, any colors that you might notice? So here we are focusing not on thoughts, but the idea is to notice and to observe what is happening to your whole being right here and right now. Let the images speak to you. Notice what dwells up for you. Even if you cannot connect to what you see, your body responds in mysterious ways. See if you notice any shifts in your being. When we look at images, when we look out into the world, we notice things, we respond, our bodies speak, we connect. And in just our day-to-day activities at work, when we study, or when we engage with people, uh, we notice that we have an ability to somatically be aware, to involve ourselves in what we notice, we witness from within. And this is an ongoing communication between body and mind, between the outer world and the inner world. So this embodied awareness involves what's called interoception. It's like sensing, breathing, arousal, any pain, any fatigue, any heaviness, feelings, emotions, and the like. We can also notice our body schema. Schema, in essence, that's the body skin, our boundaries of our bodies, our body position. And so we can explore the intricacies, how we are, and how we notice also changes in our body, the bodily sensations that come with it, emotions or thoughts that arises. For example, looking at images, because every image, every encounter in the world has a specific feeling or emotion also dwelling up in us. We connect to others and the world. So embodiment and bodyfulness, as Christine Caldwell calls it, is focused on noticing also the fullness of our body, our whole body experience. There's a lot of research that also focused on embodiment, our whole body experiences, and how that relates to our mindful attention. In particular, if there's any sensory information that comes at us. So embodiment is grounded in this habitual awareness of our inner world and the environment. And to embody is the lived experience. So what is meant here is not that we approach the body from a medical perspective, noticing, for example, our cell structure or our blood pressure or our skin or our temperature on the skin. So embodiment deals with the lived experience, how we perceive to be, our bodily experience. So it's our lived visceral experience of feelings, emotions, and imaginations. So in that sense, it's a felt sense and grounded aliveness, vitality, calm, to be actively present in the moment. And with that comes also a shift. We are going, in essence, within to notice how we are embodied right now, right here. When we say that the body plays a major role and how it is connected to the mind, there is a lot of interesting also research that points us to the mind-body coupling. In essence, every time there is a stimulus, something is happening in the world that might be stressful, perceived as stressful or not, but there's a reaction. And if we are mindless or disembodied, there's a tendency to just respond automatically. We are on autopilot in essence. So in fight, flight, freeze response. And if these reactions are stressful all the time, like over the past months during the pandemic, we experience lots of stresses. This might become even so stressful that we suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We are impacted by constant stress that we experience. The different pathways when we bring mindfulness and somatic awareness to this process, we might still deal with stresses. However, through attention and awareness and mindfulness in particular, staying present to the moment and also raising our body awareness, we expand our choices that we have to respond in different ways, how we relate to what is. And these different pathways really provide us with very different responses to situations, to our environment, what's happening at work or in our lives. And this is significant why the practice also of mindfulness and somatic awareness matters quite a lot. So in contrast to embodiment, when we are not somatically aware, what we are at risk is disembodiment. So in essence, we might contract, we might feel lots of fear, anxiety, or even angst, greed, loss of control, helplessness, confusion, or we are simply perplexed. We become ignorant and maybe even numb out. And some of these feelings that are shown here might sound familiar to you or not. But important here is that we have choices also to enhance our awareness of our body and become more somatically aware. Culture talks about this dual perception, where one eye is looking in, so inside, in our bodies, in our being, and one eye looking out like looking out the window. And there's a difference how we also share our somatic experience or awareness. Are we looking out all the time? Like being in Zoom calls and in work meetings where we are focused just what's happening on the outside? Or are we also at the same time connecting to ourselves? We might shift forth and back. But ask yourself also, where is your awareness most of the time? Is it dealing with things, doing things, or is there also an I that is looking within? Somatic awareness involves intimacy with our body, bringing attention and awareness to our bodily states, to our body sensations, our body boundaries, how we experience them, body kinesthetic, how we move in space, how we sit, our posture. So somatic descent into our physical body emphasizes an inquiry into the soma. And soma here means our lived experience in the body. To become aware also of maybe subtle energies, subtle states of being that happen in our bodies, in our lived experience. There's this saying, if you listen to your body when it whispers, you don't have to listen when it screams. So lots of wisdom from many different wisdom traditions, but also from medical research, from mindfulness, mind-body research that points us to the significance of our soma and our bodily experiences. We can focus on our body on specific points, like we do in breath meditation, when we focus our attention maybe only at the tip of the nose, at a very specific part of our body. But there's another way also to experience our bodies, which is more diffuse. It's called open monitoring, or whole body breathing, whole body experience. And there are also experiences that go beyond our body, where we experience an non-separation between our body and our environment. This might happen when we are fully in something. For example, this can happen in a movie where we are completely immersed in a movie. And in essence, we might forget our body. Or in nature, on a nature hike, where we completely immerse in the environment. So these type of experiences are kind of out of body experiences, because we are not even aware in these moments of our bodies, because everything, our whole experience becomes one. So how to be in our bodies? And this is significant because there are specific practices how we can also train ourselves to bring more somatic awareness to our experience. And this is what I like us to also engage now. And Perhaps we start with a very simple also practice just to sharpen and see where we are at this moment with our bodies. So I like you to sit comfortable in your chair, or you might even stand up if you like, and just sense into your bodies. What do you notice? So we begin by learning the language of sensations. We are here together and it's safe, it's secure, we are well grounded, and we might make body adjustments to feel really comfortable. So that there is no tension, how we sit, how we stand, and check in specific body parts. If you notice any tension, you can breathe into those parts that are tense and relax. Notice your hands, your fingers. How are they? Bring attention to the palm of your hand, the right hand and the left, and then your whole hand. So here you are not trying to find anything specific. Just note whatever sensation are there right now, right here. There's no judgment. There's no right or wrong. We observe what is there right here, right now. In our hands. You might shift your attention from the right hand to the left, and then back to your right hand. And notice if there's any difference, any sensations, any contractions. How relaxed are your hands? Are they the same? Are they different? Now bring your attention down to your right foot. What sensations do you notice in your right foot? Can you feel the toes, the sole, the whole foot? Now see if you can become aware of the other foot. What sensations are there in your left foot? And then become aware of both feet at once. Are they at rest? Are they well grounded? Now we can move our attention to our hearts. In the same way we were feeling our sensations in our hand and feet, how does your heart feel that this morning? Do you notice any warmth, heaviness, fluttering, or anything else? Just notice. For a moment, see if you can feel both hands, both feet, and your heart, and the rest of your body all at the same time. Feel your whole body all at once. What is there? Be curious and note what your body tells you. We are listeners. We are listening to our bodies. Notice if you can feel your whole body like a big beehive of sensations. Now, when you are ready, slowly open your eyes if you had them closed. Bring your attention to the room you are in. Notice your environment where you are right here, right now. I'd like to invite you to put any questions or comments that you may have in the question and answer box that is open. There might be any question related to the slides or to the practice. You might ask, was this different than an mindfulness meditation or other meditations that you may know of? I see here there are some comments floating in. Was wonderful, was refreshing and centering. To quiet the mind. What is the best way to quiet the mind, or is that necessary? And this is an interesting question because can we quiet the mind if our body is not relaxed and in a state of being receptive and open? And can we do quiet our mind deliberately, right? To just having an intention. Now I'm quieting the mind. Does the mind fall quiet in those instances? So usually we can, of course, have only a specific state of mind and state of body. Either the mind is not quiet or it is quiet. right? Now we can create choices where we can create an environment that is more inviting to settle the mind, and what is often meant to just diminish the number of thoughts that we have, because our mind tends to chatter, to have many things that distract us and that entice us to go to other places in our imagination, our to-do list, or even to solve some problems in scientific problems, just keeping our mind constantly busy. And when we create a space, for example, with our body, to sit down intentionally and to block out, in essence, also the time, like I will sit here for the next 10 minutes or 20 minutes, to have this intention, to also provide a space where actually the body and the mind can settle down and to ground, to become grounded, and to also provide space for our breathing, for our whole being, to just be, not adding anything to it. And these are the moments when our mind also typically then settles down and thoughts become less, they diminish. Now, the paradox is that often when we deliberately focus and tell ourselves, like, I need to now have less thoughts, or I like to settle the mind, or I like, or I will settle the mind and quiet my thoughts. What happens in these moments typically is the opposite, that our thought process are speeded up and they become even faster. And so this paradox in terms of when can we actually quiet our mind, and can it be in those instances where we are actually letting go of our intent and just also opening up and see what happens. Those are the moments that are possibly most quiet in terms of quieting and settling our minds. As another, I hope I answered this question and provided some of my feedback to your question. There's another longer question that was posed here. Can the physiological response to external stimuli that causes a fight or flight response be halted, stopped by going straight to a somatic mindfulness practice when we realize that we are becoming stressed? This is a very good question. And I would say absolutely yes. Because what happens when we have a really external, you called it external stimuli, is when we respond in a way, and typically our nervous system responds automatically, in particular with stress or perceived stress. It's our polyvagal system that responds. In essence, the sympathetic nervous system kicks in and puts us also into a stress response on autopilot. In essence, releasing stress hormones into our body, like cortisol. And our body, in that sense, prepares for whatever the body feels in the moment needs to be responded to. But I said he also perceived stress, because sometimes stress is not real stress. That in essence, in the wild, where there's a lion and you are standing in front of a lion and the lion eats you, right? Often in our situation, the stress is we perceive it as something threatening, but it might be actually not life-threatening in the moment. And so we have the choice. If it is not a life-threatening situation that really needs us to step up and step out, right? To respond also in different ways and to bring mindfulness or breathing, just to create a space to just in few seconds or few moments to settle us and let us respond in a way that might be more informed, more also taking the whole situation into consideration, not our automatic bodily response, but also our thinking mind, our rational thoughts, our emotions, our feelings that develop. How do we feel in our body right now in terms of what is the wisest way to respond? So mindful and somatic awareness can help us really in those moments to also respond in different ways, to expand our amount of choices. Maybe what is needed in the moment is just to disconnect from something and step back and do something else. Or we might respond to engage in, for example, in communication of any kind. What we can do with mindfulness meditation and somatic awareness is to allow us to have really more choices. And with that, our choices, how we respond to a situation might be more wise and less impulsive. Because sometimes in the heat of the moment, we might say something that we actually didn't want to say. Right. And so this is what somatic awareness can really provide us. And the more we practice, the also more attuned we become to our body and our whole awareness. And that provides us also with an, I would say, an vibrancy and really lived experience that can be also much more fulfilling in that sense.
Sabine, it looks like there's a question in the chat. Are you able to see that one?
Oh, okay. Let me just read this one. So this is complete. The question was, this is completely new to me and was very enlightening as far as connecting with my body. When you move to the heart, I couldn't access feelings there like I could with the feet and hands. Obviously nerve related, but how do you connect with an organ? Is it more of a focus on the area of the body? This is also a very, very good question. Because we have access to some body parts that might be more intuitive, like the hands or the feet. The feet often ground us because as human beings, that's how we walk, right? That's how we move. And the touching point with the ground, with the earth beneath us, gives us also stability. It provides us also with a way to ground ourselves, literally speaking, with this connection. That's why connecting to our feet is often the easiest way to also bring us in a state of, okay, I'm safe here, I'm secure, just connecting to your feet. With the hands, it is, for some, it is easy, and for some not. Because with our hands, we do things, right? We touch it, we grab things, we move things, we type on our keyboards. So they are all the time in action. And our hands connect us more with doing things. And in that sense, they are sometimes seen as more as instruments, right? That give us things. So when we connect to our fingers and hands, it is sometimes also different than our feet. But they belong to our bodies as well and give us a whole body experience and sensations and perceptions that we notice from our environment. Now, the heart space is again different, because it provides us often with our feeling space. And in meditation, there's often really what is meant also with the heart. It is our heart center, an energetic center, usually close above the solar plexus in the center of our body, not exactly where our organ, the heart, is located and situated, close, but not exactly. But there has been also through research, and also through wisdom traditions, specific centers in our body that relate to also in concentration of neurons, and also energetic spaces like the heart space, or the space in our lower belly, that is also an energetic space that typically holds also many feelings and emotions. Like the heart space, when we literally fall in love with something, or we notice also sensations that provide us with a sense of who we are, and space that allows to connect to ourselves. And so the heart space in that sense is sometimes tricky, because if we are not fully connected to ourselves, it kind of feels either distant, numb, or heavy, or there is some blockage that we might notice. And that's okay to notice, because here it's not about I want to be different, or I want to feel my heart in this specific way. So here it is also to explore and become an explorer, an observer, because the heart can tell us something about ourselves. It can provide clues in terms of, in this moment, right here, right now, on a Thursday morning, how we are. And to explore that and give it that really space for exploring, that is very, very important, because it provides us also with and sense of who we are, to and space of belonging, to provide us with, in essence, our home base. These are all expressions that really give us a way to connect, to relate. And through these relations, we also get a sense of not only who we are, but how we are in this world, and how we relate to our family, our friends, co-workers, people in the community, to everything that is going on in this world. So in that sense, it provides us also with a space of relationality. So meditation, quite interestingly, is not only in practice that we do really separate it from the world. No, on the contrary, we do it in relation to the world. And with that, we can also bring more awareness to what these relations are, and also to open spaces to explore them further, right? What they mean for us. And this is the power of also mindfulness meditation. But not only that, as we have learned also today, hopefully, uh, the role of our body and the mind body as not separate things, but that they are actually really working together, right? And we cannot really, in also in meditation or in anything we do, we cannot completely separate them out. So this is also in practice that brings us closer, in essence, to our mind body. So yeah, that's what I had to say to your question, and thank you for that again. We have a few more minutes. We can use it for additional questions or to explore also what other somatic awareness practices there are. I can provide maybe also a few words related to that, what you might also explore on your own. Or I can also talk a little bit more about the UF mindfulness program that offers also several training opportunities to engage also in exploration of mindfulness meditation, but also other mind-body practices.
Sabine, it looks like there's a question about suggestions for readings for a novice. Do you have any suggestions for reading?
Oh, yeah, that is, oh, there's so much out there. I would say for somatics, and let me go back into my shared screen mode for a moment, because I do have actually some references that are there that I used also for the preparation of my slides. And for the exploration of somatic practices, Christine Caldwell's book on bodyfulness is very good, because it provides you also with an introduction what somatics really is, because somatics is not only related to, of course, the exploration of mind body, but also goes way back to ancient wisdom traditions. So the empowerment we can get from there. I think for those interested in also more the like Western psychology kind of view, Cameron, this article is very good. Vogel's book, I can also highly recommend. It's about the science and practice of embodied self-awareness. So these literatures like Stanley and van der Kolk come from also authors that are located, most of them in California, where mind-body practices have been really exploding in terms of popularity and also recognition of various ways to practice them. Stanley's book is more for those interested in the somatic experience related to trauma, because many of us have experience with trauma, even here not trauma that are really out of the ordinary, like an accident or something really very significant, like in disease or cancer. But trauma come in many different ways. Some of them, like the pandemic, these are stresses that are imposed on us, and how we heal from or deal and relate to these type of trauma. So Stanley's book is also very good. Van der Kolk is a quite famous author and well-known researcher who wrote this famous book, The Body Keeps the Score. And this is well read and well recognized, not only in the psychology discipline, but also for many lay people, that he writes in a very accessible style. So Van der Kolk, The Body Keeps the Score. That's definitely a highly recommended one. Varela has published more on the embodied mind. So in essence, it's a more philosophical really approach, what mind-body really means. So there are different perspectives that are there, and this list is definitely not exhaustive, because there is much more. But maybe it provides you with a starting point to gain access also to more resources. And of course, here these book recommendations are not that I'm here and publisher and like to recommend few. They are just also for you to might get few starting points to start your exploration. Yeah, there is in the chat box also another recommendation, and you might type them in if you have other recommendations for literature to gain more access. I might also say the UF Mindfulness program. You can Google also UF Mindfulness to retrieve information from our website. Offers also programs and trainings, in particular the 360-degree series related to mind-body practices, offered every Monday throughout spring and fall semester. That might be also interesting for those of you who don't know about it. I see some names here on the participant list. You are already participants in the 360-degree series that has become also quite popular. It's free as long as you are with UF. You can come to those sessions. They are offered for free. The only thing you need to do is to register once, and you gain access to the whole series. Yeah, I see also Thich Nhat Hanh. Yeah, that's definitely also, I think, a very good recommendation, because Thich Nhat Hanh has written really very nicely about the heart, in particular heart space. So that's definitely also a recommendation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Angie. So I get back to you.
Oh, thank you, Sabine. This was wonderful, as always. You have such a wonderful blend of expertise, and then just the soothing voice that you have is terrific. So thank you for sharing with us today, and we'll look forward to hopefully having more people join the UF Mindfulness workshops as well. So, thanks everyone for joining us.
Bye-bye, and have a lovely day. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.